g'day, Helen.
Well, hello there. Hello, Brad, too.
Hi.
How's things?
Good, very good. All ready to go again.
Oh, wonderful. Exactly what I want to hear. Oh,
How's everything at your end?
busy.
Yes, busy girl. Working from home.
Locked inside with nothing better to do, so may as well keep busy and, you know, do stuff.
I'll put that video on. There we are. Yes, all good.
Hello.
What have you been doing?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, lots of walking. I've been doing a yoga or a Zoom.
And I'm just going to turn recording on. So the reason we do recording is it's really awesome. If somebody misses the training session or you want to watch it again or listen to it again, you can. So at the end of the recording session today, we download it, fix it all up, and then pop it onto our YouTube channel, send you a link, and you can watch it again if you want to. It's a great resource. We also have got audio options for that. And for anybody who wants to be in well, you can't really at the moment, but you could be in the car driving around listening to a training session. So we're using Zoom in a way that it's a great resource for us. Now, Graham, you told us a little story about where you used Zoom during the week. Would you please like to just repeat that for those who weren't quite here yet? You need to unmute yourself, Graham.
Yes, there we go. Yes, hello, all, and Peter.
Hello.
Yeah, I did a little. I did a little Zoom with a.
Close your blinds behind you.
Yeah,
You've got a big light.
All right.
You've got a blur.
I can do that. Is that good?
That's better.
Yes, I actually had a Zoom meeting with some people through the week, and that went okay. Probably because I didn't do much talking.
It was more from a listening point of view?
Yes, but we had to vote on certain things, and there was a yes or a no button, and I managed to achieve that.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Helen Ellis. Say hi to everyone.
You're muted.
I got that.
Hang on.
Got you.
Mute. Hang on. Unmute.
Helen, you're muted. You've muted yourself, Helen.
Unmute.
Okay, I've done it. Okay.
Yep.
Now.
Okay, so I did an exercise class every day with Zoom.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, it was great.
Is that yoga?
No, it was actually an exercise one, a dance one, but the lady was learning too, so it was great. We sort of all went through it together. Yeah.
Very good. Oh, thanks for sharing.
I'd rather do exercise when no one can see me.
Yeah, I can relate to that. All right, Helen Hughes.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Yeah.
what have you been doing?
What have I been doing? Well, I spent all yesterday, I think, playing with technology. So I wasn't I was a bit of a zombie last night. But anyway, we had a meeting with the choir, some of the choir group with Des, and we had another meeting yesterday with some other friends we linked up with in Wollongong, which was really good, and they were helping me with trying to get some information on board for the people who have Apples, Apple Macs. So I've got all that for the choir people nowadays, so that's good.
Good on your head.
I forwarded that on to Lynn this morning. I don't know where Lynn is. I sent her an SMS in case she had forgotten, but she'll probably come in shortly. But
She's doing good both last week.
she was most embarrassed about that. I didn't blame her.
Okay, thanks for sharing. I'm just going to pop you back on mute. All right, Des.
Well, as Helen said, we've had a couple of sessions with members of the choir. We've got a meeting set up tomorrow for the whole choir, those people that are on computers that can join us 2:30 tomorrow. And I also, the test runs with my daughter in Canberra and my son and his wife in Melbourne, because we're hoping to get on Easter Sunday collectively via Zoom, and that seemed to work okay.
Excellent. That's good. So you're all, getting involved, doing things with it. So really good.
We're zooming in, put it that way.
You're zooming in. Okay, just going to mute you there for a second, Des. Thanks for sharing. The other Helen, I'm unmuting you. Helen.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything technologically during the week,
Yeah.
but I have been trying to arrange this. I actually got Zoom on my laptop now instead of the phone, which is really much better. That's basically all I've done, but I am trying to arrange with my daughter-in-law to do a Zoom with my grandchildren.
Okay, awesome. Very good. All right, thanks for sharing. I'm just going to mute you again. Okay, David.
Yeah, so earlier this week I did another Zoom workshop thing on cloud computing and setting up some, web server type doodads. Unfortunately, I had network issues on the second day and I wasn't able to attend all the workshop, but I'm just been going through the slides and the notes and, catching up and stuff.
How was it?
It was pretty okay. It's actually easier than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't actually that difficult.
Okay. Yeah, they were a bit dubious about going online with that, so I'm glad they did. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for sharing, David. That's awesome. Just mute yourself there again. Okay, Brad, tell us what you've been doing.
Oh, it's been a creative week for me. So I've been using a program called Ripple, and Ripple is a really cool program for creating really awesome videos that just make everything look awesome in general. So that's been my week. I've been stuck at this desk all week for the most part.
I'm sorry.
It's fine, don't worry. I love it.
I'm not really, I'm just joking.
Wow, okay.
No, you have been very busy and very creative. Thank you for sharing. And we've got lots more to come, haven't we, Brad?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Terry, unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Okay. I've had a fairly quiet week. I've been reading about Zoom all over the news, of course. I sent you the link.
Yeah.
One of the articles. I'm probably going to use them this Friday. I'm not sure yet. My friends and I are going to have a formal cocktail hour party at 5 o'clock this Friday. So we're just deciding whether we will use Zoom or not.
Okay. You might not want to after today. I'm going to show you something else. So, okay, that sounds like fun, Terry. What did you guys get broken into?
Yes, the museum got broken into last night.
Oh, I saw it on Facebook.
Yes, I just posted it earlier.
Yeah.
They cut through the back wire fence and took a lot of our outdoor display, blacksmith tools and outboard motors and just historical stuff. Local history stuff. But I don't understand. It's not things that worth thousands and thousands of dollars. but it's part of Bateman's Bay history, you know? Why?
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. So if anybody does hear anything or see anything suspicious, just get in contact with Terry or the police. Thanks for sharing, Terry. Just going to
Who got broken into?
Bateman's Bay Museum.
Oh, that's awful.
Okay,
Oh.
Peter. Welcome, Peter. I've unmuted you, Peter.
Hello again.
Just what do you hope to get out of today's session? Thanks for sharing before.
I've been reading a little bit about Zoom in the newspapers and things like that, and I just had a question in my mind. So to link up with other people in Zoom, you just need their email addresses, is that correct? And they've got to join Zoom itself.
No, they don't need to join Zoom.
They've got to load it.
No, they don't.
Oh.
No.
Just their email will do.
Yeah, you don't even need their email address.
Well, explain yourself.
Yeah.
The first message I sent through to you today was via your phone.
That's the only way I'm operating, yes.
Yeah, and I sent you the link.
Yep.
In a text message.
Correct, yep.
Yeah. So all you need to do is click that and it takes you to the Zoom meeting. You don't have to actually have Zoom. So as digital mentors, it's really important to understand that. So that was something that yesterday I focused on a lot because we've got a lot of older people in their 80s and 90s who don't have a great deal of technical experience. So Zoom is quite powerful in the way that you can connect with it because you don't need to download it at all. All you need is the link. And what we've been doing is just giving people the link in a text message and just telling them to press it. And then that opens up. And then by the time we get them in, that's when I can do the onboarding and show them how to participate in it. So I'm going to run through that again. So thank you very much for sharing. What I'll do is for now, I'll actually bring in my presentation. So I'll start screen share just to go over what we did last week, and we'll do this quite briefly. If you do have questions, pop them in the chat if you can find the chat. If not, just unmute yourself and ask your question, and Brad or I will actually help you answer that. So I'm just going to switch over now to this presentation. And this is the one that we looked at last week. And can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, so learning how to learn online. Yep. This is an actual document that I've created. See how it's scribbled all over it? Can you see that there?
What are we meant to be seeing?
Okay.
Yep.
Close that.
Oh, okay.
Scribble.
Pardon? Did that not work?
Just a bit
No.
weird.
It was a bit weird. Okay, we'll try that again. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, so really important that we understand the environment of Zoom and the equipment. So like Helen Hughes said, when you've got somebody who's on an Apple, the process can be a little bit different. So that's why when you guys first come in and we meet you for the first time is we ask you. Can everybody please mute themselves? And then unmute yourself if you need to ask a question. Okay, so, all right. So I'll just go through this presentation again very quickly. And it does come down, like I said, to those devices. So you all know what type of device you've got. There is only one or two, Android or Apple or iOS, and your desktop type computers. So it's a good question when you're working with people in your own communities to check what they have first, because if you are connecting with them and you're giving them instructions on how to do something, it may be completely different. Okay, now when you bring in a new headset or microphone, hang on a minute. Good. When you bring in a new headset or microphone, it'll have a plug into the actual computer. So like Helen was saying, we've actually got, I'm getting some feedback there. Peter, can you mute yourself, please? Okay, so it's really important that you understand what devices you've got and how to connect them. So the standard ones with earbuds, you just plug them in and off you go. Anything that's Bluetooth will have a different option. So I'll go through that with you in a second. And once you're coming in and you're connecting, this is the link that I just sent to Peter in an email. So where you can actually see that there, this one here has been sent in an email. So what I've done is reduce the amount of information that is in an invitation and literally just said here, join here at this link. When you do create a Zoom meeting, it will give you a whole heap of gobbledygook. So I literally just delete it and send it out with just the link to Zoom. Okay, when you connect, you guys, here it's important that you actually tell it to click the Zoom meetings option. Once you click Zoom, it will then give you the option to connect. Whilever it's connecting, if I'm not in the room, it might just sit there. However, if I open what's called the waiting room, it will allow you in if I've programmed it in the back end to do that. Normally though, for when I'm setting it up for somebody who's using it the first time, I'll just make it, you know, you can enter whenever you like to keep that, to make it easier to get in the room. This is the bit here that's important. So where you might have a new device, down the bottom here, can you see this join audio option?
Yep.
And then you've got join audio here. If you come in after you've clicked join with computer audio, you can actually then click on this button here and then change the type of audio that you're using. It will also enable you to go and change it. So for you, Helen, where you might be using the computer's audio, in this instance, you can actually go into here, click on that, and it should have the brand name for the device that you've now and added by Bluetooth. So you can actually give that a go. All right.
I don't have a like a headphone picture on my lower tools.
Yeah, try the audio option, the mute option down the bottom.
Mute.
Yep. So when you click in there, it might have an option for more, or it might say test my audio. You can actually do that. It is better to do it beforehand, but you can do it when you come in. So now, down the bottom now, we've got the chat option. So for those of you who have now found that, just click on that and type a message, a quick message in the chat box. And could you answer this question for me in the chat box? So everybody, please tell me one thing that you need to know that's very important on an everyday basis, of one of 4 things, and other things that you need to know and be aware of when you're connecting to the internet. So if whatever comes to mind first, just pop it in the chat and we'll have a look at it, and Brad can add anything to that if you need to. And then something else, if you are creating a meeting and you want to actually have one person, you can connect with Zoom on a free account and be there forever. You can just stay there and talk away forever. If you want a meeting with 3 or more people, you can have up to 100 people for free on Zoom for 40 minutes. But at the moment, Zoom have sort of relaxed a little bit, and they're letting people stay on a bit longer. So, but normally, up to 2 people, it's unlimited time. With 3 or more, it is limited to 40 minutes, up to 100 people. Otherwise, you need to go onto a paid account. Now, if you have a look at what I've got down here, that's your chat box options here. So in the chat box, when you're using that chat, you can select the little tiny down arrow there and choose to have a private message with somebody else in the group. Now, there's a lot of things that have come up with regards to Zoom, as Terry pointed out, and you may have seen that there's other messages, or they're saying Zoom's been hacked and this has happened, this has happened. The reason that sort of thing is happening is, one, Zoom is what we call a startup business. So they're having to go from having, say, 2,000 people on a Zoom meeting in New South Wales in one day to 200,000. So they are having to cope with having that massive increase in what's going on. But I still think once we use Zoom in an effective way, it is good, as long as we concentrate on a few things as far as safety goes. So any new meeting that you set up now will automatically have a password option on it. And what that means, if you're going in and setting it up, it will automatically send out a password that the recipients will need to put in. I always take that out. I make sure that that's not ticked, because for people who are not too tech savvy, you're giving them another step, things that they need to do. If we're looking at a potential hazard with regards to that, where somebody could get hacked or somebody can come into the room who's not invited, there's another feature inside Zoom now where you can actually lock the meeting. So up here, you'll see a little lock, and I can physically go in and lock that meeting. So as soon as we start, that means nobody else can come in. It's totally shut off. People can leave, but they can't come in. So when we are sending emails in text messages or links to Zoom, that's usually okay. But if anybody's in Facebook and in the groups features on maybe Batemans Bay buy, swap and sell or something like that, or a group, a community group, which could be your choir with 120 people on it, when you click in there and you put a link in there, that's not a safe platform to do it, because that means anybody who's in that group can access that. And you don't know in a lot of cases, unless it's a private group for one of your own community organisations, there can be anybody in them. So that's something that you do need to keep in consideration, particularly now. Does anybody have any questions in relation to that?
We're going to be able to watch this again, aren't we? When you recorded it and you send us that little tag to watch it again?
Yeah. I'm also going to step you through this next bit. So
good. I get a bit lost.
Yeah. Okay, if you know where the raise your hand feature is, use it. If you don't know where it is, Brad, can you please type it in the chat on how people can raise your hand? So because I'm presenting at the moment, I can't see the chat. So that's the other thing. If you're going to be holding a meeting and you're saying to people, oh, do that, because you're in presenter mode in some instances, you can't see some of the things that are going on. If you're just having a face-to-face conversation and you're not using presenter mode or a PowerPoint presentation, that will be fine. If you don't know where the raise your hand option is, when you go to participants down here and you click on that, this section here opens up just like the chat. One of the options is raise hand. So when you click on this raise your hand option, good, Des, I can see it. So if anybody else finds that raise your hand, click on it. Now, the other thing that I can do is put the hand down as well. And Brad can do that from there. So it's telling me now that 6 participants have raised their hands. And when we're doing that, because I'm in presentation mode, I can say, okay, someone's got a question, and then I can get you to put your hand down. So, good. All right. Now, breakout rooms. I love these. Awesome. I'm going to pop you in one today. So a breakout room is just like telling you to take a partner in the room and go off to a corner of the room and stay there. That's a little breakout room. Nobody can hear what you're saying. Nobody can see what you're doing. I can jump in. I can have a conversation with you, and then I can jump out again. The thing with a breakout room when you're using breakout rooms is you'll have a 60-second time frame once I tell you to come back into the room. So depending on the speed of your internet, that can take a little while for you to get back in. Did somebody have a question?
So was that me? Because I don't know whether my hand's raising or not.
Okay, Brad will be able to tell you.
It doesn't tell me.
Yeah, it is. It's raised.
Okay, because it doesn't tell me this side.
It should.
Oh, yes, it does. I see where.
Mm.
Silly me, sorry.
No, that's okay. It's orientation, and it's good to do this a few times. So my suggestion is after today, when you've got a copy of this video and the handout, have a look at it, go over it, listen to it again, watch it again, etc., etc., because it can take a little while for this to become familiar. Okay, and what I've got here is I've actually broken this particular session up into a couple of different Zoom rooms. We can have 10, we can have 5, we can have 4, we can have 2 people in a Zoom room, we can have 5 people, or we can have... Now, this option down here is available when you are a presenter. You can see it looks like a little Rubik's Cube. But if you are holding a meeting and you break people out, I know that this is probably a little bit more advanced, but it is good to do it, particularly when we were talking about choirs and, you know, different community groups that want to have a discussion. It's good to know that Zoom can do this. When you're looking at it from a participant's point of view, that Zoom Rooms option will change to a circle with a question mark in it. If you want to ask me a question, you click on that and I can then jump in your room. That's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So at any time, if you need to run off, you can end the meeting, and the end meeting is always in red down here. You just click on that and that will take you out of the room. When I want to end the meeting, it actually says end meeting for all. I click on that and that's exactly what it does. It ends it for everyone. Now what you'll notice too is here you can actually see our, or actually the invitation URL. So each meeting will have an individual one of these. Okay, so this one here is not your meeting identity or the URL. It's the one that I gave you in your link. So that will be the same each time. And that's something too that I think is really important. If you're running meetings, you can use the same meeting setup week in, week out, over and over and over again without having to recreate the whole thing. Okay. Just any last minute questions on that or any new ones?
Just one quick question. With our choir meeting the other day, you were a participant for part of it.
Mhm.
When we were trying to sing collectively, we had this time delay. Now, if we put the singers into a breakout room where there's 10 of them all together in the one single room, would that solve the problem of them having this delay?
You still have a little delay, but while they're all in there together, they should be fairly timed in, because
Yeah,
they're
they
all,
weren't really synchronised.
yeah.
That was the problem. You would be aware of it because you were listening.
Yeah. There's like when you watch the news, there's always going to be a little bit of a delay, but when you're in the same room, it's just like having a general conversation. But again, that comes down to also people's internet.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you've got people in the room and their internet is playing up, that can create a bit of feedback, or it can drop in and out.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right.
We had a ukulele lesson too on Zoom, and the sound was just dreadful.
Mm.
So there's no way that they can improve the sound.
Getting
It's
better
the
microphones.
internet. It's the internet connection. And here in regional Australia, unfortunately, it is not too great. So we do need to be aware of that. Now, just to let you know, I've muted you again because we've got a little bit of background noise happening there. So if you do want to or if you've got a question, 1, you can either unmute yourself, 2, you can type it in the chat, or 3, you can now raise your hand digitally. All right, so I'm going to now pop you all in a breakout room, and I'm going to ask you to, oh, hang on a minute, am I? Yes, I am. So I'm going to ask you all to consider something for me. And the question I'd like you to consider is, what do you believe are the attributes and skills required for a digital mentor? So what are the attributes and digital skills required for a digital mentor? So this might just take a couple of seconds, but I'll pop you now into your rooms in pairs.
Eye bags, Brad.
Hang on a second. I need my eyes.
I think I disconnected.
Okay, no, you didn't. You're still there.
Oh, thank you.
So you're with me. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to bring everybody back. So your screen might change. So just wait a second there. And it will be back in 36, 35. People are starting to come back now. Brad, can you unmute yourself there for a sec?
I am temporarily unmuted, yes.
Yep. Who were you in your group with?
Everyone was there.
Everyone was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go back because I've got, I just should have put my glasses on because some have got little circles not in there. So I'm going to do that again.
Okay.
Out of room.
Isn't the rain beautiful?
Out of room. It is lovely. Okay.
It's going to wash that corona away.
I hope so.
That'd
Right.
be nice.
So I'm going to now just do that again. And it'll just take a second. Hello, Peter. So at the moment, what's happening is all the students are in breakout rooms. So they can't see me and I can't see them. But what I can do is jump into their rooms, which I am going to do now.
You're muted, Trish.
Hello.
Hi.
So I can actually set this up so that it brings you back automatically, or it can be 60 seconds. So what we're seeing are people who will come in now within that 60-second time frame. So we've still got about 12 seconds to go. They can still be having a conversation and then come back. Otherwise, what I can do is cut them off and bring everybody back straight away. So again, everything to do with computing is in our settings. Welcome back, people. Don't forget you're muted. It will automatically mute you when it brings you back. And that's a setting that I have also changed in the background. So I'm going to now close my Zoom rooms and everyone is back. Now the chat is there. What I'd like you to do is go into the chat and type in one thing that is important for digital mentors to be, to have, or to remember based on your group discussions.
Trish,
Yes.
I've typed it in, but I went to everybody. Should I just send it to you?
No, that's fine.
Just everyone. Does it come up? Or where do I hit it?
Press enter.
Oh, on my computer. Return. No. So
Trish, excuse me, I'm having trouble typing where to type it in at.
Okay. So, Peter, is that you? Or
Graham.
oh, Graham. Graham, down the bottom, if you move your mouse around, you'll have a chat option that comes up.
Mm.
I'm not getting anything.
What sort of device are you on?
I got a little iPad thing.
Okay. It might be at the top.
No, nothing there.
You may have to tap the screen and then it'll pop up. It should.
Yeah, I've done that. What
about swiping? Try swiping.
No.
No sort of little chat bubble looking icon?
Oh, there was a chat earlier.
All right. It may be in the background. So that can happen. Did it come up separately by itself, in a box by itself?
It's on an iPad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be sort of hiding. So don't worry too much about it for the moment.
Okay, it's not there, sorry.
We'll see if we can find it. Okay. So yes, we've found that some key features of good digital mentors is communication skills. Do you think that that's really important?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Definitely.
Graham, was it you that was talking, or Des who was chatting to about that in the room?
So I had something to say at one point.
Yes, Graham?
Oh, yes, I was talking in the room.
Yes.
So was Helen.
Yes.
Helen Hughes. We were both talking about answering the question, and we were talking about talking to grandkids to set up a Zoom account.
Yeah. So we're all gonna see that there's so many benefits from having being a digital mentor, because it's something that you can have. You can actually now communicate with your entire family, but from this point of view, you can be the ones telling them what to do rather than the other way around. So some of the features or aspects of being a good digital mentor are communication skills. I love that someone's put patience there. Thanks, Helen. It's very, very important that people be patient. One we've missed from last, oh no, there it is down the bottom. Brad has put it in. And it's one that is very, very important to us as lead digital mentors, and that is to never assume. Because you do, oranges could be lemons. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Peter has absolutely no idea.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So last week, Peter, one of our activities was to teach people how to peel an orange. So when we're looking at that one, the key underlying idea was to never assume that people know what an orange is. So it's like never assuming that this is a piece of bread. Does this look like a piece of bread?
Not to
This
me.
is very
It could
mouldy.
be to someone else.
Could be very, very mouldy.
Okay, so
Linseed. Linseed, yeah.
yeah, linseed bread. So going a little bit deeper into that, I could tell somebody it's a piece of bread, whether they believe me or not, but I could. But what if we're looking at this, what actually is it?
A phone.
A telephone.
What sort?
Android.
And?
Mobile.
And?
It's an iPhone, isn't it?
No.
A smart ass phone.
Smart. Right. Fine. But answer, you all gave me options. It could be an Apple, it could be an Android, it could be a Google phone, it could be a smartphone. When you're working with people and family members or other people in your community, it's very important that you know that they know what type of device they've got. Now, Brad, you're raising your hand there. I can see you.
Yeah, I just have to go.
You want to interrupt me now and
I have to go.
say something. Okay, off you go.
I actually have to go.
You have to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, off you go. I'll explain that. Thank you.
See you, Brad.
Bye, Brad.
Thanks for your help.
Okay. Brad usually does come in and explain this, because when we're working with people as digital mentors, a lot of the time they come in and they don't know what type of device they've got at all. They have got no clue what type of device they've got. So if you've got family members that you want to connect with, whether it's your sister, your brother, your cousin, your grandkids, it's a good question to ask, because some of the things can be in different locations, particularly settings, phone settings. So if you say to them, okay, connect to the Wi-Fi, and then you want them to connect to the Wi-Fi on an Android, it's very, very different than it is on an Apple phone. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the first question that you're going to ask anybody that you want to connect with, if they have a question about their phone or their device, what are you going to ask them?
What type of equipment they have.
Absolutely. What type of device is it? And then that way you're in a better position to be able to then ask or answer a question. And the other thing too about a good mentor is that a good mentor will ask a range of questions to get to the bottom of what people are asking for. A lot of the time people say, I can't do this phone's hopeless, blah, blah, blah. But it's because they don't know exactly what it is that they need. So when we ask a range of questions, that then enables us to really pinpoint what the issue is, whether or not it's something we can fix, or if it's something that we actually need to refer them off for. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So from there, we're going to go live. And when we talk about going live, we're already live. We're here in our classroom. What I'm going to do is go over again to my screen share. Give me a second. And I'll go over to here and I will share my screen with you. What can you see?
We can see a cloud.
Cloud. Okay. Did we talk about the cloud?
No, not really.
Okay. Over the next couple of sessions, we will be talking about the cloud. So we're literally going to go now from here to the cloud. So I'm going to give you the basics of what the cloud is today. Would anybody like to unmute themselves and tell me, in your opinion, what you believe the cloud to be?
It's a storage place for rain.
It's a storage place for rain. Okay, yes, we do hear that quite often.
It's a storage place for my 21,250 photos on my phone.
Right. Okay, yes, that is a good point as well. So is that where it's on your, is it actually on your phone?
I've got it, yeah, on the phone. I've got it on both iPhone. I've got it on all my Apple facilities, my iPad and my computer.
Okay, so you've got a computer like this one, correct?
Like what sort?
A desktop.
Can you see my screen?
No.
Beautiful. It's
yeah.
wonderful.
No, I don't have a desktop. I've got just a laptop.
Okay, so you've got a laptop, and I do apologise. My my art is my see one of a trainer, not a drawer, an artist.
Oh, that looks spot on. Yes, I know that that's a laptop.
Yeah. Then we've got these.
Tablet.
Yeah, and these. which is sort of a little bit old-fashioned.
That's a phone.
Telephone.
Okay, so what happens is if you've got your normal sort of like smartphone, and then you've got a tablet and a desktop and this, these are all connected. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What happens when you do something on your phone, that will also, if this is set up properly, be on there and on here and on there as well. What is that process called?
iCloud storage. Right? Oh, syncing.
It's called syncing.
Mhm.
So when you're out and about and you're taking photos, it's actually syncing as long as the device is set up properly to a place. And that place is your storage place. So once the information's on your phone, it should be, again, if it's all properly, available for you to use on. What is the one thing that is responsible for you to be able to do that?
Money.
You need an account set up.
Right, you need an account. So, David, what sort of account?
Depends which cloud you want to store your thing with.
Okay. Cloud are you storing with?
I think I'm storing it on Google stuff.
Right, yeah. So what happens when we're talking about the cloud doesn't exist at all. It is just a term that is not true. The cloud storage space, just like if you have a filing cabinet. All right, so you can have a filing cabinet with drawers in it. Okay, each one of those drawers represents one of your devices. And this one here is your phone. So your phone, when you take the photo here, you're going to store that in the cloud, as I said, does not exist. If you have an iCloud account, that means you are using an Apple storage system from an Apple phone or Apple device. That is your storage space or the drawer that Apple has said, okay, that's where you can put your information. If you're like me and David and you're using Google, the actual system is exactly the same. However, instead of using the Apple system, it's using the Google system. Okay, any other ones? Yep.
What's the Microsoft one?
Okay, so Microsoft is another good example.
Trish, there's Trish, you're
We're getting a lot of feedback.
Feedback.
All right. Can everyone mute themselves? All right. Is that better? Good. All right. So when we're looking at Microsoft are just like Apple and just like Google. So we've got the Apple drawer there, we've got the Google drawer there, and we've got the Microsoft drawer. If you're using Apple, you'll have an Apple account that is your name that you've set up at iCloud. If you're using Google, it'll be your name at gmail.com. If you're using a Microsoft account, it'll be your name at hotmail.com or outlook.com or live.com. That just depends on which version of Microsoft you've been using, and you could be using that over years. So My Microsoft account I have had for over 15 years. My Google account I have had for over 10 years. My Apple account I don't have. I've never had one ever because I'm not an Apple person. I'm a PC person. I use Microsoft for business and Google to communicate with you guys through calendars and that sort of thing. So literally you have had cloud for as long as you've had your email address. So Microsoft, Apple and Google literally are just the holders of your email address. Once you open up your emails, you can then see all of those emails that Google, Microsoft or Apple are storing for you. Now, back in the olden days, that was it. You really only stored emails there. Now, like Helen said, you're not just storing emails there, you're storing photos. You're storing email attachments, and you could even be storing some videos there. So it is important for us all to know about the cloud. Think of the cloud as a filing cabinet. That's all you need to do. I'm going to now go live. I'll stop this share, close the PowerPoint down. Maybe, if it wants to close. Sort of doesn't really want to close. Ah, there we go. And everything that I've drawn on it, I'm going to keep so that you can refer back to that later. So now I'll go live. I'll share my screen again, and this time I'm going to show you my cloud. Can you tell me where I am?
You're on the new tab page of your browser.
Right. So what can we see there, David?
We can see your bookmarks. We can see a search bar. We can see a bunch of settings for your extensions and your account thing in the top right.
What about this thing here?
The Google.
Yeah. So I'm on Google. When I go into Google and I set Google up the way that this is set up here, I can access it from wherever I go. Thank you, David. That's awesome. If you have a look here, it's got Gmail. So who is my cloud provider, David?
You would be with Google then.
It's Google. Okay. If I go to this one down here, who is this one?
That would be Microsoft.
Right. Can everybody see that? If you've got a question, unmute yourself. So I'll just minimize that, put that away, and I've now got the Gmail one here. If you're not real sure, all you need to know is that I've got two. I've got a Gmail account that I've had for 10 years, and the Gmail account is my email that I use for the business, and then there's my Microsoft account, or called Outlook account, which is a private one. So I've got two different email addresses. When I want to view my emails, all I need to do is click here on Gmail, and that will bring up all of my emails, which I have actually got up here. So you'll be able to see that now. So you can actually see my emails all coming in there, and I'll just hop out of there just for privacy reasons. And as soon as that loads, you can actually see all of my emails. But what we also have is this little section here called Google Apps. Can you all see that?
Yes.
When we open it up, this is like but wait, there's more of Google. What you need is to have a Google account to be able to see this. What you need is a Gmail account. If you don't have a Gmail account, you won't see this. So in here, where I went to Gmail before, that's the little app or way to connect to that. My cloud account here, or where all of my storage goes, is in here, and it's called Google Drive. Can you see that there? When I click on that, another little tab is going to open up off the top. And that is now opening all of the stuff that I've got stored in here. Now, what we're going to see is a lot of stuff. And down here, you can actually see some options. So the internet's just being a little bit slow at the moment, but when this comes up, you'll actually see all of this stuff, all of these folders. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Trish,
Yep.
being on Apple, none of this is relevant, is it?
Is if you have a Gmail account, it's exactly the same. If you have an iCloud account, it is also exactly the same. So even though Google and iCloud are different and the way you get there is different, once you're there, it's the same. So in here are all of these folders. In your Apple account or your iCloud account, it's very similar. So when you're working, if you're working with somebody about trying to get them connected or answer a question, you really do need to know what type of account they're using for their emails. So as soon as they say, I've got Gmail, you'll know that they're using Google Cloud. As soon as they say they're using Outlook, you know that they're using Microsoft. Now, so that I don't overwhelm and confuse you, today, that's going to be enough of that. That's something you're going to be learning, because not only do your family and friends need to know about the cloud and what the cloud does, you also need to have a very good understanding for your own information. There's nothing worse than having 10,000 photos, like Helen suggested, and not being able to access them, or worse still, completely losing them. So as mentors, we only really need to have the basic understanding of what the technology can do. If you get somebody asking you questions that are out of your control and you don't know the answer, as a mentor, would you fake it till you make it? Or what?
Ring Trish.
You ring and find out from someone who knew.
Okay, so if somebody has an Apple question and you don't know the answer to that, where are you going to send them?
Ring Apple.
Either call Apple or go to your local Apple store. If somebody calls up and they've got a problem with their computer that they bought from the local computer dealer, you can't help them with the actual hardware. What are you going to tell them to do?
I think ring back to Apple.
Well, to their, like, if it's not an Apple and it's an Android phone and they've got issues with it, where would you tell them to go?
Back to where they bought it from.
Good. Thank you very much. It's that simple. If you can't answer it, don't try to fake it till you make it, because giving people incorrect information is not very good. So what I'm going to show you all now is the Be Connected site. And Be Connected are the people who have actually created a website that, you know, some of you may have seen, some of you have been there, and some of you have used it, and some of you have done the activities. What's important is if you're working with family or community members and they've got no idea how to get started, the Be Connected website is actually a really good place to start for things like learn how to use your device, or a little bit about internet safety and security, those sorts of things, shopping online, PayPal. And what they're doing is bringing in more and more lessons all the time. So the Be Connected website is a great place to send people to start learning. So The first thing though that they need to do is be able to find it. So what I've done here is I've gone to Google and I've keyed in Be Connected. Once I press enter, the Be Connected website will open up. Has everyone seen this?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No? Okay. So for those of you who have, you might even have an account. If you've been to a lesson with me, you may have even used it, or I've shown you or demonstrated. What we have here is, once I've Googled it, is Be Connected website. When you're looking at it from here, from this perspective, oops, got to go the other way. You'll see here that it's got beconnected.esafety.gov.au. What that is saying to you that this is a government website, which means it's okay. So things that we as digital mentors need to be teaching people from now on, from my perspective, is safe websites, things to go to. Any website that's got a gov.au extension there is a good site, a very safe site. If you're going off on the internet and you don't know where you're going, it is something that you should know if you've got people that you say, okay, why don't you try this or why don't you try that? Yes, David.
What if like the government site, only they can get the .gov, right? But what if it gets like hacked or something?
This site?
Yeah. What if Be Connected esafety.gov gets hacked or whatever?
Okay. There's probably a lot of people working day in, day out, keeping this site safe. The chances of it getting hacked are not, not common, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen. So it's a good question, but most government sites are protected by a team of people who are looking after those sites all the time. So, yeah, to answer your question, nothing's stopping people from hacking into it apart from people working on preventing that from happening all the time. Like, it'd be like Google getting hacked. What's the chances of that, David?
Pretty small.
Yeah. So same thing with government sites, because they actually do have a lot of onboard security. So when you're looking at a .gov.au, particularly eSafety, you know that is a safe site that is sponsored by the government, and that, the information that is provided on there is true. Whereas a lot of stuff that you get, and using Wikipedia and some of those internet-based information sources, may not actually be completely true. So have you ever heard anything or Googled something on the internet and you've then later on found that that information wasn't true?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we have to do is to be able to define where trusted source information comes from. So a government site that's got a .gov.au site, for example, it could be the local council. They will always be .gov. Schools will be .gov. The Parliament will be .gov. So that's something that's important. Now, if you don't know, there are a lot of lessons on here that you can go in and do. But what I want you to really learn and focus on today is more about, if somebody asks you a question about technology and you can't help them with it, and I'm not available, I can't help, where can they go? This site here is a really good place to go, particularly with information going on around about Zoom at the moment, about safety, about all those sorts of things. So it's important that we all know about this site. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to take me to the front page of the Be Connected esafety.gov.au site. Now, for those of you who have an account, have you used the lessons on it? Can anybody tell me if they've actually used the lessons on it?
No.
Sort of still quite new to people. All right. If you have a look here, and if you want to, I would most definitely suggest that you use the site. you know, go around, you've got your home page here, you've got your topic library, you've got find local help. So if you look at find local help, the Tec Exec are going to be in there. So our company is in there because we are a trusted provider of Be Connected training programs, as well as our own. So we are actually ticked by them to say, yes, that we are a trusted provider, and that's where you can find our information through them. If we go to the topic library, once we click on the topic library there, it's good to explore this because there's lots of different information coming up, new things to learn, particularly about our own devices and about, you know, anything from the absolute basics to getting to know your device. There is something that I do want to discuss and just let you know how important it is. Now, when you go down through a website, you'll arrive at the bottom at some point. Once we get to the bottom of the Be Connected website, there is an about page. There is privacy and legal information that they have to. So any website really, if they're collecting information, they need to have a privacy agreement. Then there's a contact us option down the bottom there, which is, it'll take us to their contact details of their phone or their email, those sorts of things. And then there's this one here, which is a site map. When we click on the site map is like opening a book with a contents page, and you click on that and it takes you to everything that is listed on this particular website. So when we scroll down through that, what you'll see here are all of these sessions or lessons that people can learn. So here you can see, I want to learn how to take photos on my Apple iPhone by using the camera. So if I click on that one, these are new. So this whole section here is new. So there's probably what, 12 to 15 brand new sessions on there. So it's a great site to go and learn new stuff. And it's a great site to go and refer other people to. Now, as digital mentors in your own community, in your own group, in your fitness group, or in your, so really the role of you as a digital mentor, if you would like to call yourself that, it's a good idea for you just to say, okay, I need to know how this is going to work myself. And you can go through these lessons. But if you're out and about and you are in your fitness group and somebody in your fitness group is having an issue with their phone, or they don't understand how to stay safe online, you can refer them to this site. Once you refer them to this site, they can actually come on here and create their own account. Now, if you have a look, when I go across, there's an option that says sign in and sign up. All websites will have this sort of stuff now. So they have an index page or a site map. They'll have, you can actually see the government logo there, and then their partnership with Be Connected. When we click on that, sign in, sign up, it's going to take us to an online form. Anything that we do now has online forms. So if you want to sign up for Centrelink, if you want to sign up for superannuation, if you want to sign up for Netflix, if you want to sign up for online music, or if you want to sign up for an email account, you have to fill out a form. Here's one I prepared earlier. What I have here is a little form, and the little forms are asking for information. What's the difference between these little forms and this form here? Nothing. So literally all we have is a physical paper copy of a form or a digital copy. When I click on here, create new account, see what I've done? So over here, when we create an account, it will actually remember you. So it actually is going to log in there as the Tec Exec with our password there, which you can't see at the moment, which is really good. If you want to create a new account for a new user, and that new user is yourself, you need to go down straight away and click on New Account. So you click on Create New Account here, and what we'll come up with is an online form. Now, last session we spoke about cookies and all of those things and online safety. These are the things that if other people are using your device to do this sort of stuff, it's going to remember their information. If you fill these forms in on somebody else's computer, it will remember the information as well. So it's important at the end of that process, if it's not your own device, is to go through and clean it up. So what I want to do is just go through this. So would somebody like to, I noticed somebody typed something in the chat. Was that a question? If it was, could you ask it now?
I actually asked the question how to initiate a chat initially, and Brad answered that in the meeting room.
Okay, thank you. So you're all good?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you.
With regards to this online form, you actually see there's not really much difference between what they're asking for and any other form that you're going to get, whether it's a form to have newspaper delivered to the home, whether it's a form for your next door neighbour to have Meals on Wheels delivered during this current stage of our life. If you have a look here, it's asking for a little bit of information. Where these little asterisks are there, it means that this information is required. So what I'm going to do is move across and I'm going to enter in my information. See how I've clicked there though, and it's already got it? That's because the computer is remembering information that I have put in another form. So if you're using somebody else's, you don't want it to do this. So this is a good example of where it does do it. And if I click on me, it's going to fill out my first name and surname because it's remembered the data that I've put in a form previously. If you're referring this or you want to use this site for yourself to learn, and I do advise that you do, it's so good, you come in here, and what's important is that you actually know who we are. So who am I? Would anybody like to say who I am?
You're Trish,
I'm Trish. And where am I from?
the Tec Exec.
Okay, so if we are a support centre and we're offering support to people outside, what support centre would they sign up for?
Tec Exec.
Right, so we click in there and we type in the Tec Exec, and all of our addresses magically drop in. Which one are we part of?
Bateman's Bay.
Right, okay. So that's one thing there that's really important if you're using that you refer people to this, but tell them to use the Tec Exec as the support centre. And the reason being is because it enables me to go through and see where everyone's at. And when they come back and they might want to do another lesson, they can. So the details that we need are first name, surname, the support centre, the email address. I'll just type my work email address in. Oops. Caps lock. All right, so once we put that in, we then create a password. Something there with a password. The password can be anything that you want it to be. Usually what we do is we ask people to create something fairly simple so that they'll remember it. So it could be something like yellow tie, green fish. It could be a word that they, or a name of a street that they grew up in when they were, younger. And in there, if we type in how it comes out in little circles. Over here at the right-hand side, there is a show password option, and I suggest that you don't use that if there's somebody standing behind you. If we click on show password, the password that I put in is now visible. The passwords that we use in anything now need to have at least 7 characters, at least 1 number, and an uppercase. So my password that I've put in here, is it sufficient?
No,
Right, what do I need?
a number.
A number. Okay, so I'm now Bluefish 1. Is that over 7 characters?
Yes.
Okay, so that one is acceptable. When you are, and it's if you're digital mentoring, it doesn't mean I'm not going to suggest, oh, you know, you've got to tell people to sign up for this. It's just an option. It's an option. It's a great resource. Like this is a resource for you. So we're recording this so that I can send you the link. You can watch it over and over again if you like. But if you do have somebody who is in your community, it could be an older person, it could be your next door neighbour, it could be your mother, that this is a great place that you can say to them, hey, go here, there's all of this information. It helps to help people understand the internet, how to stay safe, and they're adding new things to this all the time as they come up. Once you've done that, it's got I consent to emails. You don't have to check that at all. And here, this bit here is important that you actually say yes, or whoever you're getting to sign up, that they agree to the terms and conditions of the site. So that's important. And then from there, they sign up for free. It's free forever. It is completely sponsored by the government, and they can use it and go through any activities that they want. Now, the difference between that, once I actually click on sign up for free, it's going to give me a mistake because I've already used that email address, and it does have that there. So if I was creating a new one, I'd have to use an email address that I have never used before. So now we've gone through the process of setting that up. We've chosen the Tec Exec Bateman's Bay as the support centre. I'm now going to go back to sign in, sign up. And let's just say now all of a sudden we've signed up. When we come back in, it's actually got the email address and the password. So from there, next time we go in, all we need to do is click log in. Now, I think for maybe people who are part of the CWA or the men's shed or anything like that, your ukulele group, these are the sorts of things where, you know, people will get a lot of value from this. See how now I've signed in? I've actually now, you can see I'm signed in as myself. So once I click sign in, it's going to remember me. The good thing about this, it remembers everything I've done inside here. So if I go all the way back down to the bottom, and today I'm not an iPad user, so I'm going to go back to the sitemap at the bottom, and I'm going to bring up one of those new sessions all about the iPad, all the way down the bottom. What have we got there? Games Center for smart devices. So it actually does have games on here. So if you want to go in and play games, you can. But I want to know how to use the camera on my new iPhone that I don't actually have, but pretend. So notice on here, when we move across to that, the mouse changes from an arrow to a hand. If you're on a phone, it won't do this. It's just on a desktop. If you press this now,
Sorry.
you will open up this activity. Okay, so today we're going to go through this little lesson. It's going to teach us all about the Apple iPhone. What do I need to start? Obviously, you're going to need an Apple iPhone. And you're going to need around about 20 minutes. And alternatively, you might like to print the following pages. So also it's got at the bottom a printable guide that people can download in lots and lots of languages. Let's have a little look at this video. So if you guys don't have a lot of data, videos will chew your data. So I'll play that for this one, and then I'll come back. So just give me a moment. And that will play the video.
Welcome to the Apple iPhone.
Helen, do you have sound?
Course. In this course,
You can hear
Yes. Yep.
access your iPhone's built-in camera, how to take a photo, and use it as a background image, how to take a selfie, how to delete a photo you don't like, and how to edit a photo and send it to a friend. This video should take around 20 minutes to complete, but you can pause or rewind at any time to check the steps. Before we begin, check your phone is charged and switched on and showing the lock screen. Your operating software should also be up to date. To follow all the steps in this.
That's a really important thing. For anybody who started with me, like Helen from ages ago, remember what we said about updating technology, about updating software? Helen? Okay, so for anybody who has been to a session, it's very important that the devices are updated. A lot of devices will only update when it's connected to a Wi-Fi, and that's why this here is saying that that's really important, because if the device is not updated, it may not be completely safe. Okay, we won't go through that entire video, but do you get the general idea about how great this website is? So you've got iPhone calls, you can start learning. You can actually go down, you can print the guide, and once you've finished, you can move on to other activities. And as I said, they're bringing in more and more sessions in this all the time. This is one of the new ones. So for the moment, I'm going to stop the screen share so I can see you all. Hello, everyone. Does anybody have a question about that?
In order to use the lessons, you have to sign in, is that right?
You should create an account, because when you create an account by signing in like that, it will actually record the lessons that are completed.
Yep.
Whereas if you can use it externally, but it doesn't actually record what you've done, so it's hard to then know which exercises you've actually done.
Yep.
So when you go in and create an account, Be Connected are not going to do anything with your information. They just want to make sure that you can see exactly what you've been into, exactly what you've learnt, and you can pick up again next time you go in and learn something new. Or you might only learn one part of that little lesson and complete that, and their phone rings and you come back. If you're not logged in, you won't know where you're up to. Whereas if you're logged in, it will tell you exactly where you're up to and you can pick up where you left off. It's like watching.
Yep.
Okay, so you're halfway through a movie. It remembers how far through that movie you're at. Any other questions?
Can I just pass on something that I learned yesterday? I had to ring Apple, and I was downloading malware bytes, and they told me that, you know, about having to update my Apple all the time. But if I had updated again, I would lose a lot of my apps, and I would then have to pay for them. So I don't know about this Apple. I think it's a major money-making process, really. It means that the next upgrade, which you're supposed to upgrade all of you, what's the term? each time. You've got to accept your upgrade, your downloads of no, it's an upgrade. What do you call that? You know what I'm trying to say?
Actual software update.
That's right, my software update.
And who told you that?
Apple.
And they said that they were going to charge you.
If I update to the next I'm on Mojave at the moment, and it's I can't remember the actual number, 1410 or something. But if the next update takes me on to Catalina, and if you're on Catalina, then I will lose Adobe, I will lose Epson, and she went through all the different, what do you call them? They're not apps, what are they? What's Adobe?
Yeah, it's an app, it's a PDF reader.
Yeah, well, I will lose those. I can go on and I have to purchase them now. And it's not even a 2-year-old laptop, and it was top of the line laptop.
Okay, usually when you have something like that, you would have created an account. So was that the actual Apple store, or was it a phone store, or was it online that you were asking these questions?
I went on Apple helpline because I had difficulty downloading malware bytes.
Right.
She actually took control, but she actually pointed to me. I had to do it. And she would explain the different processes and where she showed me for the next one. And it warned us that we would be definitely losing all these apps for the next download. And it came up this morning to download the next app, and I thought, blow you, no. And she actually made sure it wasn't an automatic download, which it had already been.
All right, yeah. Like I said, I'm not the best Apple person to ask about this, but I'm going to ask. But if she's from Apple, she's probably correct. I would say. But with Adobe are definitely on a money-making mission at the moment. And they've updated all of their software. And a lot of the software-based players like Apple, Microsoft, Adobe, and those sorts are subscription-based, just like a newspaper. So if you ever have newspapers delivered to your home, you would get it delivered, and then you would have gone to the news agent and paid your bill at the end of the month or week or whatever it was. A lot of software now is doing the same thing, and it does make them a lot more money. So, and Adobe is definitely one of the companies that are currently doing that, and they have got a big update. So they've got what's called Adobe DC, and it's a document center. So it brings in all of these forms that I was talking about, but it's enabling the forms to accept digital signatures. So if I get something delivered, the gentleman comes, he gives me my item, he's got a little device with a stylus like this one, and he says, sign the screen. All of our other document or information gathering websites will eventually do the same thing. You will need to just sign with a stylus. But for the software makers, yeah, it is about getting a regular income. If you are using the Netflix app, you have to pay for that as well. If you're using the Spotify app for music, you have to pay a monthly subscription to that. So I'm not surprised, but that just means there's been a major update. Then they're no longer offering that particular app for free.
It's the same with YouTube. If you've just used the standard YouTube, you download a music video and you get all these ads before it. But if you actually join up and pay, I think it's about $9 or $10 a month.
Yeah.
You don't get the ads. You just go straight to the video clip.
Yeah, so that's YouTube Red.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah. David, do you have anything to add to that?
About the subscription-based things?
Yeah.
Or about the phoning up of Apple?
Both.
Most things now, they're going for the subscribe, per month or whatever. And a lot of things have the free trial or whatever, like, the first month free. And then if you don't cancel your month, it just keeps coming back and charging your credit card month after month, even if you've completely forgotten about the thing.
Yeah, that's right. And we actually do find some of the software that Brad and I use for graphic design, they most certainly do that. So we've just got a new one, as Brad mentioned, called, can anybody remember what it was called? It was called blank. Ripple. And that's a subscription-based one too. So we pay monthly for that as well. We can pay yearly, but it's a really good program. We use it for videos. But this is how the software providers make their money, and us as the users then have to choose whether or not we want to continue with that. But Helen, let me look into it and I'll see whether or not there are any ways we can get around it.
Thank you.
Okay, because maybe using Google Apps on your Apple device is probably the solution, I would think.
Okay. The other thing you did say in one of the initial meetings that we all should have a Gmail address. Now, I've got Big Pond and also Yahoo. Is it necessary to have 3, or are those 2 sufficient, and why? Why was it so important to go onto Gmail?
That's a really good question. Because your Big Pond doesn't have any available free apps, Google does.
And Google comes through on Gmail?
Yes.
Oh.
So if I just minimize you guys here and go back, can you see Google now?
Not yet.
Nothing's changed at the moment.
Same.
Okay, can you see Google now?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Instead of using Adobe Document Center, which is expensive, Google has a whole suite of apps as well, like Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Publisher, those sorts of things in here. So when this little Rubik's Cube is where my Google Drive is, and in my Google Drive is where we store all of our business information. So when we go to the Drive, that's like the iCloud one. Big Pond don't actually, they do have storage, but you might not be able to access it yourself. You might not know how to. Whereas when you're looking at Google, you've got Google Calendar. You've also got a whole heap of other ones, Google Books, Google Shopping, Blogger, Google Hangouts. All of your contacts can be associated with that. So that's like your index book. Google Docs, if you want to go to Google Docs, that's already there. This is all free. And cool, Google Classroom. So people don't really know that there are all of these. So you've got a spreadsheet, you've got Google Slides, which is like a PowerPoint presentation. And then you also have other things that are like Adobe. So there are a lot of these ones, and these ones are all free for you if you have a Gmail account.
Can you keep your Big Pond as well? Can you have your Big Pond as well as Google?
Yeah.
As well as Google.
Yeah. Yep, Yahoo, you don't have to get rid of any of those, but Yahoo is a bit old. It seems to be like either Microsoft or Google is the way to go.
Okay.
Google give you more for free, and you're also using Google as the platform where we go to the internet. With yours, Helen, because you do have an Apple, you're probably using Safari to go to the internet. But it doesn't matter which one you use. They both do the same thing. So you can continue to use Safari to go to the internet, or you can use Google Chrome. But once you've got a Gmail account, you've got all of these things in there, and that's the Google Play Store. So you can buy other things. For example, you can buy books in here. So you can go to Google Books and you can actually download ebooks. You can go to YouTube. So if you have a Gmail account, you've also got a Google account, a YouTube account, because Google owns YouTube.
Right.
So there's all of these things, but it's personal preference. If you're going to start getting billed, you do have other options. So that's something to think about. So between now and next week, have a think about it, because I'm sort of a bit, I'm aware of the actual fact that these companies want to make money, but there could be, for pensioners, something else. So just leave it with me and I'll try and find out for you, because I know new things are coming in all the time. And not only that, I know that there are other alternatives. So I want to try and find the best solution for you there. And then that's something that with other people in your groups, you'd be able to help them out with as well.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit concerned about letting somebody control your Apple iPad or whatever, or your laptop via remote control.
I was a bit concerned about that, but as she said, she was only coming in to show me. She couldn't do it. She couldn't change anything. I had to read what she was showing me, and then she was basically proving to me that they were going to update to the Catalina instead of the Mojave, I think it's called. And by doing that, she showed me how it would close down all these different apps as well. So I agree with you, Des. I've always been a bit suspicious about somebody coming in and controlling. I know Telstra have done it when I've had problems with Telstra, and I go on Platinum and I go on to them and they take control of my site then, and that always worries me a little bit, but it's always rectified the problem. So I thought I'd be fairly safe with Apple.
Yeah. Well,
you are safe with Apple, but these are good questions, because these are the things that we need to get to the bottom of. Yeah. And I can do a computer share with you from here. Anybody can do that if you give them permission. But then again, you've got to make sure that that is a trusted source that you're giving access to, because she was just sharing so that she could see what you were doing. That's like a screen share. Was that through Zoom? No.
It was, I telephoned Apple and Apple, the Apple support people, and then she proved that it was Apple, and it certainly was. So I felt reasonably secure, but I always am a little bit nervous when somebody can take control.
Of course, and so you should be. I've got a question here. You can have Google on an Apple. Yes, you can. Very easily. Why do you have two YouTubes on my screen? On mine? Because I have a business YouTube channel and a private one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you.
So that's because I'm using Google products all the time. We use the business products as well. So I find it good. I wouldn't say it's without its issues. They all have their issues. It's actually easier to access than a lot of Microsoft ones, and Microsoft will also charge you about $120 a year just to have Microsoft products. So yeah, Google is most certainly a solution, and it also gives you storage that you can put your photos in. But there too, Google will give you, just like Microsoft, they will give you 5 gigabytes of storage space for free. Then once you go over that, they'll start to charge you for it, or they'll send you a bill, or they'll tell you if you don't start cleaning information out.
Yeah. So if you have things stored in Google, so your Google Photos, and then you've got Microsoft and they've got a storage.
Yeah.
They're not interchangeable though, are they? Like it's either in there or it's in there. It's not in both.
You can put it in both, but you wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah. I think as far as using, okay. Helen, what do you currently use to back your computer up? Helen Hughes.
I do back it up regularly. I don't even know what it is, but I do. I back it up very regularly.
Can
Probably.
you find out for me what it is?
Yeah.
Good. Des, are you backing your computer up?
How do you mean?
Are you taking a copy of your personal information that you've got on your computer, like your photos and files and things?
Well, I've got an external hard drive, which it goes to that.
Good. Okay. Helen Ellis,
Yes.
are you backing up your computer?
Yes, to an external hard drive.
Good. Graham,
You're muted, Dave.
mute.
Yes.
You are? Where?
Yeah. Not sure. I'll get back to you.
Good, because it's really important.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, the other Helen?
Helen Hughes or Helen Ellis?
No, I've got both Helen Hughes and Helen Ellis. Other Helen, just unmuting you. Helen?
Unmute.
Helen, you haven't fallen asleep on me, have you?
She's muted.
Helen, you're muted.
I think she's gone.
Okay, she may have just ducked off for a second. Okay, David.
Yes, but I usually just reset my computer every now and then anyway.
And just delete stuff.
Yeah, I actually don't store personal information on my computer. It's usually on my phone.
Where do you store it?
I usually just store it on my phone.
Okay. And are you backing up your phone?
Like it has no photos on it, no personal information of myself. I usually don't keep that stuff.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not asking for any other reason than just having a look at what people are doing individually. Terry.
You unmute, Terry.
Yes. I back up to the cloud. I back up to an external hard drive.
So you're using two different types of backups? Okay.
Google, absolutely Google.
Absolutely Google, because you find it easy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing. I think that's good. Peter.
That's it.
Hello.
Oh, you sound like you're playing music.
I'm just my phone gets backed up by my phone once every couple of months. I'm not sure where it goes, but he knows.
Okay, so it is very important that you figure that out. So your homework is finding out where your backup's going, because it's very, very important that you know who you're backing up with, because if you don't, you can lose absolutely everything. Have I missed anyone? Have I missed anybody?
No.
Okay. I'm going to end it there today. I just want to go around the room and just everybody tell me, Helen Hughes to start, what's the one takeaway from today?
What's the one takeaway for the day? Well, I've learned a lot about what I should be doing, what I haven't been doing.
As they say, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Okay, thanks for sharing. Des?
Be connected.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so if you don't have a Be Connected account, you can create one yourself. You can go in there and try the exercises. But yeah, let people know that there is definitely there. There is also the eSafety Commissioner website that I wanted to mention to you as well. So if you're not getting exactly what you need on the Be Connected one, there is also the eSafety Commissioner website.
What's it called, sorry?
eSafety Commissioner.
Oh, eSafety, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Graham.
find out where the backup's gone and work out how to get a Zoom account sorted so I can talk to grandkids.
Okay. So you know how, Graham, how I got to sent you the link and you can go from there?
Not sure.
I'm going to show you something else. So if you know how I told you about the online forms today?
Yes.
All you have to do is go to Zoom on your computer and create an account there. You just create it with an email address and you can actually link it to your Google account, which is a very good way to do it.
Rightio.
Okay, so that's a really, really good, easy way to get your Zoom working with your family. I do have one more alternative in a minute. Okay, Helen Ellis.
Be connected, I think, was the big one for me too.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
All right.
I signed up while you were talking.
Oh, good. Very good. Okay, that's excellent. Did you use the Tec Exec as your support centre?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Okay, Helen? I think she's...
This Helen? No, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here, but it keeps jumping in and out.
Yeah. It's probably me.
I haven't had very good reception this afternoon.
Okay.
I think I could now go in and do a Zoom account to call my grandchildren.
Excellent.
And I like the be connected, but I didn't get it all. So no doubt you'll go through a bit of that again next week.
Absolutely. Definitely. Okay, terrific. Thanks for sharing. David?
Yeah, sending people to be connected if they have questions that you don't know, like you don't know how to use an iPhone, you just send them to that one or look it up for that one.
Yeah. And they're very simple sessions. They're not complicated. They use plain English, which I think is a big thing. Okay, thank you, David. Terry?
Yes, for me was be connected as well.
Excellent.
I'm all signed up and having a good look.
Wonderful. All right, thanks for sharing. And Peter?
Well, I like that be connected, e-safety. That's a very good good spot to go. I will resurrect my Gmail account and I'll also try and find out where I'm backing up my mobile phone to.
Good idea. Good idea. The thing is, though, we take so much information now, it's coming at us here, there and everywhere. We've got to know how to store it. Then once we store it, because your phone can do that automatically without you even knowing. So once you store it, we need to be able to know how to go back. So I'm going to show you this one more time, know how to go back and find it. So for me, really easy. I go to my Google Apps, I click on that, I go to Google Drive. If you're on a phone, you can do exactly the same thing, but you need to have these apps available. So you have a Gmail account or a Hotmail account or Outlook account, so Microsoft or Gmail, doesn't matter. For the purpose of what we're doing though, I find that most people will choose Google because of all the other free stuff that you get with it. So as soon as we're connected, it comes in, it loads up, and what we're looking at here, once it actually comes in, is 10 years of information that I've got stored in my online storage system called Google Drive. And literally it is just like drawers with manila folders in them. So all of these little manila folders that you can see here, just like being in a filing cabinet. So going back to the drawing that I did in the cloud, cloud is only storage and it is virtually exactly the same as the process of storing information in a filing cabinet.
Trish, can I just ask a very quick question, please?
Yeah.
I have the laptop and iPhone and iPad. Now, I thought they were all linked.
They should be.
I have never ever backed up my phone or my iPad. Should I be doing that as well, or is just backing up my laptop sufficient?
Are you backing up to iCloud?
Yes.
Yep, that is.
No, I don't back up to iCloud. I pay extra each month to be on iCloud, and everything, I just presume it all goes there.
It does. It does. So now we need to figure out how to find it. So, yeah. So remember I spoke about syncing?
Yeah.
Because you've got an iCloud account and you're paying for that, all of your devices should be syncing together.
Yeah.
What you can do is you'll be able to see that. So once you figure out from one device how it's doing it, you'll be able to see how to do it on the other devices as well. So all of your, if you've got a laptop, desktop and a phone, they should all be accessed the same way in the same place.
It was just, I panicked a bit when you said backing up your phone, because I've never ever done that. But by the same token, I recently had a problem with my phone. It died, and in the end, they were able to transfer everything across to the.
Yep. So that's actually doing it automatically. And Apple computers and phones will do that automatically, whereas Androids may not necessarily do it automatically.
Thank you.
So that's why, again, another reason why I always say, okay, make sure you know what type of device you've got.
I've just got a little Seagate hard drive at 1 terabyte. That should be.
Yep. So that's your other backup. Excellent. Okay. Are there any final questions before we shut down?
Yeah, I've got one. I put something up on the chat, but it wasn't brought up.
Okay.
We're having a meeting with hopefully 30 or 40 choir members tomorrow. And at the end of the meeting, which we quite often do at our normal practice, I'd like to show collectively a YouTube video of a choir singing a particular song.
Mm-hmm.
And Lynn will be the host. So I'm just wondering, is it possible for me to be able to do that, or does she have to do it as host? Because if
she should do it, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I'd have to send her the link or the actual URL for that particular YouTube clip for her to be able to show.
Not necessarily. She can, if you've got it open on the internet, she can change host, but I don't know if she knows how to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
At this point in time. So your safest bet for the moment, until you get really used to using Zoom, is to send her the link.
Yeah.
When you get really good at it, you can just switch hosts and the host can present and show a video, and then, you know, people can comment on that, and then you can swap screens with somebody else. So for the moment, we're still sort of pushing on the basics here. But yeah, it can be done. But for now, let's keep it really simple.
It's just mainly to round out the session with a 2 or 3 minute clip, basically.
Yeah.
Just to end on a happy note.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. I bet you're overwhelmed after that one.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Very much so.
You can actually now chill out. Let's everybody wave your arms around.
It's happy hour,
For
isn't
no
it?
other reason than that's really funny.
Trish, before you go, I've got 3 questions, and the first 2 are in 2 parts.
Yes.
No, I'm thinking that my phone and iPad are linked because the photos come together. And I paid the Apple $250 a month or something. So would that mean it's going to the cloud stored there?
Yep. Definitely.
Well, that's my answer. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So if you're paying for it, they are doing it automatically for you.
Yeah. Or $1.50 a month or something.
Yep. So you need to know where it's going. Because you might need something from there. And their space, they're charging you for that. That's going to grow and grow and grow with you. But as it grows, they might start billing you $4 a month. So you need to be aware of these sorts of things. You're at least on that $2 a month for a year and a certain amount of space. I think it's 200 gigabytes.
Yep.
And once you go over that, that could increase. But you need to be in a position where you can say either, yeah, I want to do that, or no, I don't.
Okay, good. Thank you.
No worries.
And thanks for the.
Thanks, Trish.
Somebody else had their hand up. Have I covered off on everything?
No, I just went thumbs up.
Yeah,
Well,
bye from me. See you all next week.
Okay.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Trish.
Thanks
Thank you.
for putting up with me again.
See you next week.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh, just before you go, can you guys go back to that Be Connected link? And there's some other, the survey. So if you go back to the survey, there's some other questions there, please, to answer.
On Be Connected.
The actual link I sent through for the survey.
Yeah, where is that?
If you don't have it, I'll send it out. It'll always be in with your Zoom link in an email.
Email. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Trish.
There you are. Bye all.
bye.